Hello, everybody. Right now, I'd like to talk to you about Venezuela. I've had a bunch of videos about Venezuela. I really didn't want to do another one, but here we are. So, Nicolas Maduro was removed from power, and he's going to be facing an indictment in the United States. I don't feel sorry for the guy. He is a bad person, by all in all. He is a bus driver turned loyalist of the Hugo Chavez, and then somehow became president. Now, their elections over the past years have been a little interesting. They've had cleaner elections themselves. It's just that you didn't get the right ballot access. In other words, the elections themselves were taken care of nice, and they were clean, much cleaner than the United States. It's just that if the establishment didn't want you to do it, you'd end up dead. Well, the last time he won an election, he actually lost it, and he stayed in power anyway. So, there's that. So there's no way that I feel sorry for that little prick whatsoever. Him and his wife are going to be in prison. And if they're not, they're out of power. They just have to worry about the thousands of people in Venezuela that want them dead. So even if he goes back there, his life is going to be awful. But what's the issue? The issue is these regime changes they don't work. It's unstable and it doesn't work long term. We tried this crap in Iraq and it didn't work. It went from having an authoritarian government to a pseudo-democracy to a pseudo-democratic authoritarian government. So that didn't work whatsoever. But ExxonMobil and Koch Industries got access to that sandy little oil. Same thing here in Venezuela. ExxonMobil and Koch Industries wants access to the crude there because the crude there is a little sandier and it needs a special type of refinery which are owned by those companies. Now there's going to be some good. The good news is it's about 10 million barrels a day. Or is it, I'm sorry, about 1 million barrels a day. My mistake is coming out of Venezuela. No big deal. That can actually be sold to places like Russia and China. So strategically, it's a victory. You get to control the oil that's out of there. But long-term stability, it's going to have consequences. Hugo Chavez, in his infinite wisdom, and Maduro probably did the same thing, when he ran out of money, he used to literally give firearms and munitions to the soldiers to keep them in line. So they'd go around and either sell them to all the non-state actors in Venezuela, like terrorists and gang members, and of course now defeating the military and overthrowing them, that's the easy part. Actually governing the place after, that's going to be the difficult part. They do have a vice president that they recognized as president. That's a good thing. She actually won that last election. She seems to actually want a democracy. But we'll see how it works. Now here's some bad. The bad is those non-state actors, which are tons of them in Venezuela, and armed gangs, which there are lots of them in Venezuela, are going to be looking to branch out now because Venezuela is now just crumbling. So you can expect Venezuelan gang activity to increase because instability is taken advantage of by, of course, non-state actors, terrorists, gang members, and such. Another bad part's going to be the Caribbean. The Caribbean, which is already awful for smuggling and awful for organized crime, and the reason why is because there are so many small little islands out there. Actually, there's more islands in the Caribbean that have ever been discovered. So what can happen is it's really easy to hide from the authorities when you're smuggling contraband. And since there's now economic problems going to be happening in the near future with a bunch of fragile economies in the Caribbean, it's going to be more smuggling and a lot more drug trafficking. So the whole little thing of we're trying to crack down on Venezuela for drug trafficking, that was just, they're lying about that. So their actions are going to lead to more of it. Now, Venezuela, the government definitely has their little hands in dirty things, but they're not major players. They just really aren't. So what we did is we just made it worse. So this is what we can't do. We most certainly can't go to Venezuela on vacation right now, and probably for the next at least year, if not longer, probably want to avoid the Caribbean. Caribbean's going to get a little kidnappy and a little drug smuggly. So here's the thing, and here's the big deal behind everything. I get why we did it. Don't like Maduro, didn't like Chavez, but what they did and what led them to this collapse is what we're doing right now. Back in the 80s, maybe even late 70s, Venezuela was one of the most wonderful places to live in the entire planet. Then, of course, the rich weren't satisfied, and they only had most of the power, not all of it. So a bunch of fiscal policies got planned out, and it just separated the wealth. So people got angry, they got poor, and they voted for a strongman like Hugo Chavez. who had collectively about 6 or 7 brain cells. However, he was pretty good at killing people and arresting his opponents, so he was managed to stay in power. He did confiscate some wealth and pretend to redistribute it, but most of that was to pay off a lot of the generals and the high-ranking officers in Venezuela so they wouldn't turn around and coup him. So what we did, sure, we might stabilize the oil, but it's going to cost us more money than we make. And this was just a bad idea all around. So basically, south of Florida, or in the Caribbean, I would stay away from there for a long time. I would stay away from Central America for a long time. And if you're really worried about illegal immigrants coming from all these areas, it's going to increase dramatically. So a lot of the stuff that people in the right are concerned with, which is just virtue signaling and horse crap as far as I'm concerned, is going to explode. Illegal immigration and drug smuggling is going to go through the roof because of these actions. And there's not enough money, and then there's not enough resources in Venezuela to actually have a stable democracy. So we'll see how long it lasts, if they even get a chance to do it at all. I don't know what is going to happen. Please tell me in the comments, what you think's going to happen. Me? I think it's just going to be bad. I think we're going to have to stay away from Central and South America for a long time.